So the time has come to answer all your Q&A questions. Roll it. Welcome back, everyone. A huge thanks to all 18 of my channel members for supporting me. Really appreciate you. And I really do hope you stick around. And also, if you're new around here and enjoy the content, please consider subscribing and liking my videos because it really helps me reach more people. And of course, hit that bell button to get notified as well. And if you also want to join the Galactic Window Lickers Discord, the link is in the description. We are almost 1,000 strong and growing daily. And of course, if you also want to become a member, just click the join button next to the subscribe button and pick your poison. So a few weeks ago, I made a Q&A video asking all of you to ask me questions about literally anything. Could be about my life, Neverwinter itself, or whatever comes to mind. And those of you interested did actually comment and ask me about various topics. So now it's my turn to answer your questions. So I'm just going to start at the very bottom of my comments and work my way up all the way to the most recent comments. So Mel Adams was the very first to ask her 3 questions. And she asked, what drives you to make Neverwinter content? What do you do when you don't do anything Neverwinter related? For example, any interests outside of gaming? And if you could invent your own Neverwinter dream mount, what would it be and what would it look like? So what drives me to make Neverwinter content is trying to reach out to as many people as possible and help them do better in Neverwinter, by passing along my own knowledge and experience to others who need it. I like the feeling of knowing that someone out there I never met watched my video and left with either more knowledge, happier, or with a smile on their face because of something I said to make them laugh.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike.
If my videos can make someone's day just a little bit better, then I am more than happy with that. But I'd also be lying if I didn't say that another huge driver to making content is possibly maybe one day making a living off doing this.
Check the money making bank account number. That's that shit that's never getting bounced on your...
I mean, why not? I enjoy creating videos and I think I have the personality for it. And I do think I have so much more to offer to YouTube, but just haven't found my niche outside of Neverwinter. But you'll never know if you succeed until you try, so why not give it a shot? And I think whoever says that they're not doing it for the money as well is either well off economically, rich, or not willing to put in the effort. So there is a selfish aspect to it as well, like earning some extra money to maybe have a better time in life and not struggle as much. That's also another gratifying part to it, is that it makes me feel good to do something for others. And I've always been creative, so yeah, here I am. Second question. Outside of Neverwinter, I have many interests that have changed over the years, but some have always been here and I always enjoyed doing. I'm a huge fan of hockey. Go Habs go. And I follow everything regarding the Habs. I love watching every single game and rarely miss one when the NHL begins. I also enjoy watching documentaries about many different subjects, but space, science, and anything related to the animal kingdom has always intrigued me the most. And of course, anything related to Elon Musk, because I think he's an absolute genius, even though he's crazy. And geniuses usually are. And I also spend many hours a week educating myself in regards to how to edit videos better and try to apply them in my actual videos. And obviously I'm a huge music fan like most of you probably already are, but I've only ever fanboyed over one person, and that person is Eminem. I'm a super ginormous stan to say the least. I also love designing things in Photoshop, and of course, I'm a super huge movie and TV series fan. But for the past years, ever since my father passed away, I've become more of a homebody, and that resulted in hobbies I used to do taking a little bit of a dip. Like playing basketball, tennis occasionally, working out on the regular, taking 10-mile walks, and, bowling with friends, and they all slowly fell to the wayside. But in general, I'm always doing something. And as for your last question, if I could invent a Neverwinter dream mount, I would make it a huge window that hops around and you hold onto the frame for dear life. And every time you press the spacebar, you lick the windows. And you can invite one more person to lick it with you. Yeah, I realize that sounded perverted the way I phrased that, but fuck it, I'm not taking it back. And its equip power would be to automatically skip every cutscene in the game while I equip, even the ones that you can't skip. I think everybody would want a mount like that. I mean, if Cryptic is listening, maybe they can help me create that. Just saying. Next question is by Katya Azizi. I don't know if I butchered your name or not, but we'll figure it out when you answer me. She first says, happy birthday to my really good friend Athena. Katya's first question is, when did you start playing Neverwinter? And how did you find out about the game? So that's actually 2 questions. And then she asked, what made you want to be a Neverwinter YouTuber? Last question, What would you like to see in the next mod when it comes? You're the best. Thanks a lot for answering my questions. I think I have one of your questions already answered about, why I make Neverwinter content. So I'm not going to repeat that. I already answered that. I first started playing Neverwinter when it first came out during beta, and I started playing it on and off until I eventually started playing more of it. And the way I found out about the game was I was just going through Steam games, and I wanted to play something different other than Dota. I was a huge Dota fan, Dota 1 and Dota 2, and I was like, fuck, I just really, really, really want to play a new game. So I searched through MMOs. I never played an MMO, and then I saw the name Neverwinter, and I'm like, fuck it, it's free, let me try it. And yeah, I've been here ever since. So as far as what I'd like to see in the next module when it comes, I always like to see the same things. I want to see better content, more dungeons, fun content that we could do that's very rewarding. Other than that, I don't really care what they bring to the game, as long as it keeps the people playing the game and it's extremely fun. So next question comes from my friend Trevor. He says, happy birthday, Athena. I'm sure she's listening because she watches all my videos, and I'm sure she appreciates it. So he says, as for the question, which is more of a statement, you are as hot as you sound, bro. Much love. But his actual question is, what's your favorite class in the game to play, but you can't pick a rogue? So the class I like to play or enjoy to play other than the rogue when I did ever play a different class was probably the control wizard and the fighter. I think you asked for one class, but I like both of them. But I think I'm leaning more towards the wizard because I just like that style. But they're neck and neck with a fighter. I've always enjoyed fighters as well. Next question is from Bakura Wild. If you remove scenarios and just speaking in normal general gameplay, what class do you think is the better class, rogue or warlock? Keep the window licking coming. Well, to be honest, if I'm being biased, I think the rogue is the better class. But to be honest, they're both great. But that's kind of an unfair question because I think the rogue is the better class. I just do. And not just because of damage. It's just I've always loved rogues. I've always liked the stealthy character types, with the daggers. So yeah, sorry, but yeah, rogue. Definitely rogue. Next question is by Achilles. Name one power from another class you wish the rogue had. Well, my answer is going to be kind of weird because I'm not going to look at this as like powers that would make me more powerful. I would more make it like what power is a lot of fun. For me, I've always liked bull charge.
Bull charge. Bull charge.
I've always liked charging into the mobs and pushing them, knocking them back. So if a rogue can have bull charge, I would love to have bull charge. I've always thought bull charge was really cool. Uatu asks Boca Juniors or River Plate? Obviously, my answer is Boca Juniors for one and only reason. Diego Maradona used to play on that team. Yeah, and I love Diego. Diego was probably the best player that ever lived. Him and Pele. Holy shit, man. Yeah, so Boca Juniors for sure. Captain America, a friend of mine that always likes to joke around, says, happy birthday, Athena. I think you know what I'm going to ask. How many windows have you licked and which one is the best one? Well, to be completely honest, I haven't licked any windows. But if I ever did lick a window, I'd have to make sure a girl had, been sitting on it or something. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, I'm not just going to lick a window. There has to be some sort of incentive. Yes, so if a hot girl sits on it, I might just lick that window. Just saying. Next question is by Trishakhan. Can you do a video about how to maximize only having the second best in slot equipment, artifacts, and mounts? Maybe people like myself have almost none of the BIS gear, but would still like to know what to use. It was one of the things I liked much about your latest videos for rogue builds. So I think your question is if I can make videos like that? Yeah, absolutely. I could do that. And I'm not done with that series. I'm going to restart it. It's going to be named differently, but it's going to be the same type of thing. Yeah, of course, I could do that. Heath asks, okay, my question is as follows. Since the Mirage set is still a viable set for content, what about the other sets from Cloaked Ascendancy? Just looking at the stats, they seem like good options if you don't have Lionheart or Masterwork sets yet. Are they broken, i.e. bad? I'm just trying to find some options until I can get better stuff. I trust your opinion, so that's why I asked. Thank you in advance. Well, to be honest, besides bonuses on weapons, all weapons are good. You can use any single weapon and you'll still do fine. As far as those specific weapons you're talking about, what weapons are good always depends on the bonuses. So all you have to do is look at what bonuses those weapons give you, those specific ones that you're seeing. And if you like those bonuses and you don't have anything better, just use it. They're all good. They all serve a purpose. The weapons alone are not going to carry you through content. It's a variety of things. It can be skill, knowledge of the mechanics, and all the other gear and companions put together. So don't worry about the weapon. Use whatever you have at this point in time until you can get something better. So don't worry yourself too much about that. That's all I'm going to tell you. Jimmy Rosenberg says, I'm having a hard time getting into Neverwinter with the new system that they implemented. I think it's okay, but my question is to you, how do you focus so much time into the game without getting bored? Well, there's lots of ways you could be not bored playing this game. First of all, if the game does bore you or the gameplay or whatever else, then maybe this game is not for you since it's boring you so quickly. But the way you can avert being bored, first of all, you can listen to music, but the best way to avoid boredom is just to hang out with people. Join a Discord, join an alliance, talk to people, chat, get to know people, joke around. That way time flies and you're having fun at the same time, getting to know people. I know that works for me when I'm bored. Just hang out with some people, have a nice talk, laugh about silly things, and as we're doing a couple of dungeons, and then before you know it, dungeons are over, or whatever you're doing is over, and you're not bored. Try that out, see if it works for you. Maybe it doesn't. Rick Schofield asks, how do you plan on celebrating 10,000 subscribers when it happens? Well, to be honest, man, I haven't really thought about that far ahead, but the usual go-to for me is get a whole bunch of codes and a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to buy with AD and just give it to you guys. But this time around, it might be different. We might hold an event in my Discord. We might hold an event in the game, but that will be just PC, so I don't want to do something that's just PC. I don't know. I really do not know what I'm going to do, but it's definitely going to be something special. It's definitely going to be something that I'm going to give back to the community, of course. And yeah, we'll take it from there. But I honestly really haven't thought that far ahead. Next question is by Richard Keith. My question is, what is the best way to make AD in the game? And 2 related follow-up questions. What is the most efficient way to make AD? And what is the most fun way to make AD? So the best ways of making AD, I'm not really sure of. I can only speculate from what I see from others because I really don't spend my time making AD or finding ways to make AD because I have so much of it on my alts and I really don't have a problem with AD, so I don't know. I would assume until recently Avernus was a great way to make AD, making hunts and selling them and selling those chains or whatever, trading them. And more recently it was the whiskers, and still like people still farm whiskers. But once they fix the drop rates with that price is going to drop. But I do think that probably one of the most beneficial ways is probably maps, Mastercraft maps. So it's probably that. The way I do it now is, I just run dungeons. If I get something good, I sell it because I don't need the AD. But I'm pretty sure the 3 I just mentioned are 3 of the top ways to make AD right now currently. And as far as the most efficient way, I would assume it's probably maps or the whiskers right now. And the most fun way to make AD is always something that you do that you enjoy. So for me, it would be running dungeons and content and making AD by selling stuff that I possibly drop in the chest. That's about it. Jayska Teague asks, first, why is your voice so buttery smooth? Second, if you could change one thing about the rogue, what would it be? Third, which class do you think needs the most work? Either make it viable, good, or just revamp or refresh, and why? Well, your first question, why is my voice so buttery smooth, is because of all the vagina I've eaten all my life. I don't know why, but vaginas have this thing that just, it just goes down smoothly and it just lubricates your vocal. I'm just kidding. Can you get through that? I don't even know. I don't know why my voice is so buttery smooth. I think my voice is deep and raspy. I don't know if that's buttery smooth, but yeah, I really don't know. For your second question, the thing I would change about the rogue, even though it's very selfish, would be permastealth. I want permastealth back. I want to be in stealth forever. Back in the day, we had permastealth during PvP and all that stuff. That's what I would change. Oh, and I would remove Path of Blades from being so powerful because it's turning us to, more of like just press one button type of class, and I don't like that. And which class I think needs more work is obviously the wizard. Definitely the wizard. And they need a little bit of a revamp and refresh because the wizards, I think, deserve a little bit better than they're getting right now. And it's been a long time. So they don't need a lot of work. They just need some adjustments to be way more competitive than they are now. So that's my answers. Cypher Almasi asks, will you ever do a top 10 of your favorite Eurovision performances and possibly do a karaoke version of the number 1 pick? The song you choose for number 1 is the song you will need to sing. No, I would never, I would never consider singing. My voice is good for many things, but singing is not one of them. Yeah, no. I used to be really into Eurovision, especially Greece, since that's where I'm from. Like Sakis Rouvas when he came in 3rd and Elena Paparizou, which came in 1st at one point. But I haven't followed Eurovision in about 10 years, to be honest. So I'm not really in touch with it. I wouldn't do karaoke version of my number 1 pick. It's because I just can't sing. I can do other things with my voice, but I cannot sing. Nope, can't. And one other question you have you ever thought about developing your own game? And if you have, what kind of game would you develop? I've never really thought about creating or developing my own game. If I could though, I'd probably revamp and remake Neverwinter from the beginning and keep the Foundry, keep Gone to Grim, keep all those amazing things like Old CN, Old Castle Never. I would keep the old combat system and I just balance them better and add way more dungeons. We'd have like 3 or 4 times the dungeons if I was a developer. But yeah, if it was anything, it would probably be Neverwinter and just make a new version of it, but much better. Herman asks, how do you come back to the game? I played for 3 years, but then there were way too many changes, at least for my taste. To name a few, Mastercrafting turned into an AD dump, and then there's the new enchanting system. My main tune was a fighter DPS, but right before the latest changes, I had began to dabble with tanking and healing tunes. But then the realization struck of how long it would take to grind each tune to get them decent, and I kinda lost the spark. So I guess your question is, how do you come back to the game? I don't know how you get back into the game. You have to just get back into it and find something in the game that keeps you interested. You just take it one step at a time. You see what you've done so far and see what's left, follow the quest lines, slowly work your way up there, find out what the bolster is, find out what companions you need, Google, figure shit out, watch my videos, obviously, and that's how you get back into it. You can't just get back into it and suddenly know everything since you took such a long break. But yeah, that's all I can really tell you. Hallelujah asks, what is the bestest way to farm AD? Well, your method. Well, I think I already answered this question. I don't really know the best way, but I think the best ways involve either something to do with Mastercraft maps, whiskers, some sort of hunts. I really just don't know because I don't do that anymore. I don't farm AD. So I'm going to stick with Mastercraft maps. If anybody knows the best answer, let me know in the comments and, help me give a right answer to Hallelujah. Trace Johnson asks, my question is, why did you copy Northside's armor visual? I'm just kidding. I'm just letting you know I'm paying attention. My real question is, can you explain the name Galactic Underwear, please? Right. So I'm going to answer your first question as well, because it's a valid question. The copying actually was taking place in one of my videos where he, made me those petrified gloves for me that I have a video for. You guys can go check it out. It's pretty funny. So I saw him glittering and shining and glowing. I'm like, dude, why do you look like that? Like, what are you using? Oh, he said I'm using the Shining Bark Shield, whatever the fuck it's called. I'm like, fuck it. I'm buying it. So I bought it and I've been using it ever since. So I definitely copied Northside's armor. Looks too good. It looks too good not to copy. So I had to. And as far as your real question goes, why my name is Galactic Underwear, it's kind of a weird situation. So my very, very, very first name was Your Mom Is My Epic Mount. Yeah, I know, kind of childish, kind of funny though. I just like funny names. Had that for a few years and then somebody, reported me and was a hashtag bad named and I had to change it. Obviously now if I had that name, it would be Your Mom's My Mythic Mount, but whatever. I'm really into space. I love everything galactic, space-related, universe, and all that. So I wanted to incorporate that into my name. But I also like funny names. So I was torn between, should I have a funny name? Or should I have like a serious name? Or just a boring name, call myself, Dimitri or whatever, which is my real name. And just go about my business. So I decided to incorporate both. I have a serious side, which is galactic, and I have underwear. So I have space underwear, space panties, space Fruit of the Looms. People call me Galactic Crotchless, Galactic Space Panties, Galactic whatever. We have a blast. I don't regret it for a minute. Galactic Underwear was chosen because I wanted the best of both worlds. Funny and serious about something I actually enjoy. So there you go. So Leanne says, happy birthday, Athena. Obviously, she appreciates it. And your first question is, what did you get Athena for her birthday? Which will probably answer your second question as well, because your second question is, what type of dog is Athena? And you say, I'm assuming she's a bulldog. And then your third question is, does she come first while editing Neverwinter content? Well, first of all, I got Athena, I think 6 presents, which might sound like a lot, but it's really not. It's things that she really enjoys, and I really wanted to give it to her. So let's answer your first question first. So what did I get Athena for her birthday? Well, first, I think you need to know Athena is my absolute best friend. Me and Athena are very close. We've been through a lot together. She's always been here for me, and I'm here for her. And we've only known each other for about 1.5 years, but we spend almost every day together. At some point during the day, we'll spend some time together. So yeah, we're pretty damn close. So for her birthday, you're going to see on your screen, I got her a t-shirt that says Legend since July of 1992, because that's when her birthday is, in July in 1992. I also got her this set of BTS socks because she's a huge BTS fan. I also got her a BTS hoodie because she really, really loves hoodies. And of course, BTS because she's a huge fangirl of BTS. She goes to like concerts and she's just like, she fucking loves them to death. They've done a lot for her life. So I'm just sending some of that back to her because she really likes it. I also got her a book that she's reading. I bought her the first 2 books. It's a series of 3 by Shannon Mayer and Kelly St. Clair. And it's A Crown of Petals and Ice. So when she reads that, she'll be done with the series. And she likes fantasy love affair type of books. And the last 2, I got her 2 games. I got her, of course, the amazing game called Stray, which is absolutely so much fun. I watched her play this because it's not multiplayer. So she would stream it and I'd watch her playing this while we were on Discord. and I'd watch her play. She fucking loves it to death. And then I got her Little Nightmares 2, which was one of my favorite games to play. I played Little Nightmares 1. She'd already played that a few months ago when we played it together. And now she's currently trying to finish Little Nightmares 2. So yeah, I got her 2 games, a book, a sweater, some socks, and a t-shirt. So now that I answered you what I got her for her birthday, it's pretty obvious she's not a dog because you asked what type of dog is Athena.
Bow wow, bow wow, bow wow, bow wow. Hold on, guys, my dog's barking. Shut up, dog. You're gonna be like that, okay. And I'm just gonna be like, bow wow, bow wow, bow wow, bow wow.
And then what are you gonna do after that?
I'm a dachshund. My name is Athena. Nice to meet you. Oh, bow wow, wow.
Hello? Come here, Athena. Come here. Good girl.
Oh.
Good. No, don't bite the shoe. Come here, Athena. Come here. Good girl. Stop laughing. Good girl. My dog knows how to laugh. I taught her at a young age. All right, stop laughing. Get on my lap. Wait, stop laughing. Get on my lap.
Hi guys. You should compensate me via cash money. I have a Venmo, PayPal. It will be linked in the description down below. Bow wow! Bow wow! My name is Athena. I'm a dachshund. I'm, 30 years old.
Woo! I'm 30, guys! Thank you! Woo! Yay!
I have a dog, I swear, see, look.
This is my brother. His name is Keely. I'm a dachshund too. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate all of you. Woo! Bow wow! Bow wow! Just so you know, Galactic's a huge pain in the butt.
Oh my god. Oh my god. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Oh my fucking god. No way. That's it. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. It's not working. The power of Christ compels you! That was a waste of a drink. My lady, you are looking beautiful this evening. Please take my red gold. My lady? Ah! What is this? Don't worry. I'll make short work of it. My dick itchy.
Pano to the max. 10,000. Of course. This is my wiener. This is my wiener.
Athena is not a dog. Athena is a female, a woman. Athena is a she. Dogs can't read, wear those types of t-shirts, or play video games. So obviously she is a person, not an actual dog. But if she was a dog, she would definitely be a dachshund. Because she has 3 dachshunds. She loves them to death. So yeah, she would be a dachshund if she was. And your third question, does she come first while playing, editing Neverwinter content? Yes, absolutely. If it's happened before, where I'd be busy or she'd be busy, and if she needs me for anything, whatever, I don't care what it is, I will drop what I'm doing, unless I'm not at my computer, I'm away from home. I will drop what I'm doing and go be supportive for my friend. So yeah, she definitely comes first. And you know what? She knows it too, and she totally takes advantage of it. Just saying.
Pain in the butt.
Next question. Hi, what you play before Neverwinter release and what you play after the shutdown of the game? And will you survive if all the window lickers take over the world? Right, so the game I played before Neverwinter, and I played for a long time, was Dota 1 and Dota 2. It was basically Dota. I just played that shit for years. I think 7, 8 years, something like that, maybe more. And what would I play if the game shut down? I really don't know. I do play multiple games. At the same time I play Neverwinter, I also play Black Desert Online. I have 15,000 hours in Black Desert, so I've actually played the same amount of time on Black Desert as I did in Neverwinter. I would probably stick to Black Desert Online, play some new MMO that's going to come out. I also play Lost Ark sometimes on occasion. I haven't played that though since I played with Athena months ago. And yeah, I don't know. I would have to figure it out. But I do hope Neverwinter doesn't shut down anytime soon. It will eventually, but who knows? That could be 5 or 10 years down the road. Or they can make a Neverwinter too. You never know. And will I survive if all the window lickers take over the world? Fuck yeah, I'd survive. I'd be the king of the window lickers. They would do my bidding. I would tell them what to do. So yes, I would definitely survive a world full of window lickers taking over. Yeah, no doubt about that one. Next question is by Jose Manuel Zudo. Why are all of Neverwinter YouTubers never talking of PvP? I think all players still waiting Cryptic to do something about PvP. Well, this is kind of an easy answer because there used to be YouTubers that played Neverwinter that are PvPers that used to make tons of video PvP. I'm going to show you on the screen now one that has videos from PvP from the past. He doesn't PvP anymore. His name is Mini-Me. He has like 15 or 20,000 subscribers or whatever. Go check all his PvP videos. They're insanely funny and insanely good. So there was Mini-Me. There was also Rob, that was a good friend of Mini-Me's that made PvP videos. And there was Marigold's the Shredder. I know there was more. There was at least 10 people making PvP videos. The reason why they don't do it now is because PvP died. It's been dying for a long time. Some people still play it on occasion. There might be a few YouTubers that still make PvP content. I don't really know, but yeah. The YouTubers on PvP are not as big as PvE, and PvP died, so that's why you don't see them around. Yeah, so that's all I could say about that. Then Bruno Battlehammer asks, what is your opinion on trials or dungeons? What should we have more of, and what do you think dungeons should become? Should they become more difficult? Meaning, should we have more puzzles, traps, or even different ways of completing? Oh, and do you have a Dwarven Pally tank that you run around with? Not that I'm biased or believe Dwarven Pally tanks should be everywhere. Just wondering for a friend. Yeah, you're totally biased. I don't think dungeons should necessarily get harder, but I do think dungeons should have more variety to them. So like you mentioned, puzzles, traps, or even different ways of completing. Variety is always good and keeps people interested. If they did make them harder, they should also have easier versions of them too, because not everybody's going to be endgame to do all those, really difficult dungeons. My general opinion about dungeons and trials is that we should have the equal amount of both. We should have as many trials as we do dungeons. I think trials are more demanding and a lot more fun in many ways, but dungeons have their beauty too. And, 5-man parties, less to worry about, less to plan out. You just go and do it. And if you complete it, you complete it. Trials is a bit more of like planning that goes along with it, artifact calls and all that stuff. But they're both good. I like them both. And as far as your last question goes, do I have a Dwarven Pally that I run around with? No, I do not. Well, not at all. If I do have a dwarf, I don't know if it's even a pally. I don't play my alternate characters. So no, but I could definitely make one and name it after you. Make a pally tank, make it a dwarf, and call it Bruno Battlehammer in your name. Who knows? You might get lucky. Next question is by Uncontrolled Victory. 1. Folks are pretty aware of your dislike of scaling. That aside, what do you think has been the most positive change over the life of the game, and what do you think was the most detrimental? So let me just answer your first question first. I think the most positive change they did was probably ever since Module 16 was released and they did the new combat change. The balancing is a lot better since Module 16. The combat system is not better. I still like combat system before Module 16. I love the synergies the way it was just simply better. But it was a lot more unbalanced back then. But I do think this new combat system, the positive changes they made, that the classes are a lot more balanced, in regards to comparing them to each other, with a few exceptions as always, because balancing is not perfect and Cryptic can't, get it right anyways. So the most detrimental to me was obviously the combat rework in Module 16, where they changed the complete combat system, the synergies, the way things used to be, and made it to what it is now. It's more balanced now, but I still think the old combat system was way better. More synergies, more buffs, more debuffs, was a lot more to consider. So that was definitely the most detrimental to me anyways. 2, what advice would you give to those new returning players when the reality of the Neverwinter grind sets in to keep them from burnout? Well, what I would tell them is to find, joy in the little things in the game. One of those things for me is just to hang out with friends. Hang out with your friends, do stuff with other people, and the burnout won't be so apparent. Because when you do things alone, you burn out a lot quicker because you're just alone. You're not talking to anybody. You're not socializing. You're just running around doing senseless fetch quests or whatever you're doing with your character. But when you're with people on Discord, listening to music or talking to people, laughing, joking, whatever you guys do, it's a lot different. It helps you with the burnout. Not saying you can't get burned out still, but at least it helps. And for your third question, would you ever consider running Hardcore Castle Ravenloft with me to help me achieve a personal goal? Yeah, of course. Message me in game if you're on PC. If I ever have the time, I'll try and help you out to achieve your goal for sure. KD Smith asks, what was your best moment in Neverwinter and your favorite memories? Wow, I have so many of them. One of my best moments, one of them is from the past, let's say. My absolute most amazing favorite moment was back when Tomb of the Nine Gods came out. And in the beginning, it was really difficult, right? It wasn't It wasn't a cakewalk or anything like that. And I got together with 4 other rogues and did a full Tomb of the Nine Gods run, just 5 rogues. No tanks, no healers. And we actually completed it. And the best moment wasn't running the dungeon. The best moment you're going to see on your screen right now, I actually have a video of it, where back then we would all use Courage Breaker in intervals of like 5 seconds or so. And Courage Breaker used to slow everybody down so much that they could hardly move. So we made the boss go so slow that we just slowly killed him. And he would never catch the person he was running after, who had the aggro at that moment. So like as soon as that person got the aggro in the beginning, he would just focus on him. And then we would just continue to use Courage Breaker one after the other. And we killed Raznici just by using Courage Breakers and attacking him from behind while Raznici was trying to get to Blur, who was running around the edges of the platform. Here, let me show you a small clip.
Same.
See? Look. That's how you kill it. And we can follow him. And Bro needs to kite.
We can get close now?
Yes. But not Blur. Oh my god, why? Dude! You don't understand shit!
I mean, oh my god, I can't believe this. If we do it like this, bruh.
Yeah, that's how we need to do it. There is no other way. Like.
You know what? This is great.
Don't move, bitch. Don't move.
So that was my absolute favorite gaming moment. Okay, that was number 1. Next question is by Steve D. Okay, we can all agree Galactic has the greatest voice of any content creator ever. Hey, how you doing? He's honest and funny as hell. So when is Neverwinter going to have you do a voiceover for a character in the game? Hell, when will there be a Galactic underwear NPC? I don't know if they're ever gonna let me use my voice for a voiceover. I think if they did it, I'd have to be something evil or like a dragon. You know, the dragon hunt dragons. Make me say something crazy like, oh, I'm gonna bite you in the ass, you window lickers. You know, something crazy, something funny. You know, calling some people weird names that only I would say. Something like that. Probably the Black Dragon. He's a badass. I would like to be the Black Dragon. I don't know if they would ever put my voice in anything, really. I haven't really said anything to them about it. They haven't approached me. I don't know. I have no clue, but I would love to. If they offered me to become an NPC, I would definitely do it. As long as I'm not like a stupid NPC that just stands there and says, fucking whatever, the best soap in Chult or whatever, which is one of my favorite lines, by the way. I'm just using it as an example. But yeah, I would definitely love to do that. But, you know, if Cryptic is listening, maybe they can offer me a job to do voiceovers. I'm down for that, you know. Obviously, I wouldn't do it for free. Pay me, motherfuckers. What you think? Free is dead. Anyways, moving on. Okay, Derek McCoo asks a question, but he phrases it really well. So he says, tragedy has struck. Your rogue has been assassinated while sleeping after topping the DPS charts. The culprit? None other than the man of the cloth, a salty arbiter cleric. And your rogue is forever dead. 1. Do you pick another class and vow vengeance or hang up Neverwinter for good? 2. If payback is chosen, what class would it be and why? And 3, more seriously, outside of Neverwinter and content creation, what do you do to keep yourself well and happy? Hope these spark more of your hilarious color commentary, and thanks for all the wonderful content. Well, I would definitely not stop playing Neverwinter, but I would probably try to get a job as a developer and ruin the coding for the clerics forever. I would make them absolutely worthless. You know, I occasionally heal, tickle the boss with damage. I would take my vengeance through coding. But if I couldn't become a dev, I would definitely play a different class. And the class I would choose would probably be a wizard, because I like that power where they choke them and they lift them up in the air and they're just wiggling their feet like fish. Oh my God, bro. I would do that. I would definitely do that. And I would choke them, and all the life would be, some people like to be choked, but that person won't. They will want to be dead, and yeah, they will wish they were dead and that I never got my chokehold on them. As far as outside of Neverwinter and content creation, what do I do to keep myself happy? It depends on the day. I don't know. Offering my grooming services, creating orgasms for others and myself, of course with consent. What makes me really happy though is when I can, be with a woman and then she suddenly realizes she can squirt. That makes me very happy, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Oh my God. All right. Moving on. Stephen K2 says, first, what's the current DPS ranking class by class in Module 23? Second, where are you from? And third, what was the name of your first pet? I'm assuming real life pet, or are you talking about companion in the game? I'll answer the real life because I don't remember in Neverwinter if that's what you mean, but To answer your first question, I don't really know the order because it just depends on skill. But if I was to pick the 2 best classes in damage overall, as in being balanced and doing good damage in single target and AoE, I would think it would be the Warlock and the Rogue, probably a Ranger too. Those would be my choices. Where I'm from Athens, Greece, but I spent most of my life living on the island, Santorini and Rhodes Island. The name of my first pet was actually Sneaky. My very, very first pet was a cat, which I went out and got when I was like 8 or 9 years old. I found her in the street. I took her home. I begged my parents for me to let me keep her, and they wouldn't let me. So as soon as I was taking her out, they said, fine, keep her. And I named her Sneaky, and she was the love of my life for a long time. So my first pet was actually a cat, even though I prefer dogs. I'm a huge dog fan. But yeah, my first pet was a cat. LA asks, who's your favorite Neverwinter NPC? I never really thought of that, but I think it's definitely not Nox because he's everywhere and he's annoying. Well, my answer is probably going to surprise you guys. I like that NPC when you go to Chult and you go by, like, to go to Social Star River and you hear, best soap in Chult. Yeah, that guy. I love that guy. That guy's my friend. He's random, crazy, and fucked up just like I am. Hey dude, I'm Jamie, one of the co-leads from Legion of the Dead Winter on Xbox. Firstly, we need more Bert and Ernie videos with you in Northside because that shit was funny to watch. My question is, where did you get the name Galactic Underwear? I mean, did you see a woman with an ass the size of Crete and think, fuck, she needs galactic underwear for that booty? In our guild, we have an officer who we call the namer of stuff because she thinks of the most randomest, hilarious shit you ever heard. Good stuff. Stay safe and keep the content as great as it is. Peace. Well, sadly, I already answered your question in a previous question, so you know why I named myself Galactic Underwear, so I don't have to repeat it again. But yeah, I hope you do well with your guild over there, man, and that person sounds pretty awesome to me. Johnny Cowser asked, what do you think about the new board mounts? You mean those hoverboard things? I think they're cool. It's nothing new. I've seen it in Lost Ark. I've seen it in other games before. They're cool, though. They're cool to have. And I absolutely do like them. I haven't gotten a rune board yet, whatever they call them. But I will, eventually, sometime. No rush. But yeah, they look pretty cool. Hey, Galactic, love your vids, and you're the best. I hope your days have been well. What is the rotation for your most recent AoE and ST build? Well, to be honest, AoE doesn't really have like a set AoE. Usually people, what they do is they use Passive Blaze, Smoke Bomb, Whirlwind from stealth or not stealth. It really doesn't matter as long as you use your Blade Flurry from stealth to get 2 hits and use your Passive Blaze, you're usually good to go. So there's no actual rotation that I use on mobs. I switch it up depending on the situation. But the normal go-to is you run in, turn on Passive Blades, throw down a Smoke Bomb, go stealth, do a couple of Blade Flurries, or go into a bunch of mobs if you have your daily, throw a Smoke Bomb down, go into stealth, do a Whirlwind, then do 2 Blade Flurries, because from stealth, if we do Whirlwind, you don't lose your 2 Blade Flurries, and then, you know, all the rest, Passive Blades, whatever you want to use. As far as single target goes, I personally get into battle, do a couple of Blade Flurries, build up a couple of those bleed stacks, go into Stealth Wicked Reminder, Shocking Execution, then Passive Blades, then Assassinate, then my Mount Power. If I have my artifact, I pop it during an artifact call, and so on and so forth. And then I just keep doing the same thing over and over, stacking my bleeds, doing the same rotation, Stealth Wicked Reminder, Shocking Execution, with Passive Blades and Assassinate and a Mount Power. Hope that helps. Richard Keith asks, what's your advice on second tier gear? Like the new ribcage and the new replacement for Gristos horns are fine if you've capped out power. But what if you can't? I don't see the mid-game players are best served by endgame gear. Well, to be honest, I don't think it's a matter of being best served by endgame gear or top tier gear. I just think a lot of people would prefer to get the endgame gear and then slowly build themselves up to like grow into the gear, I guess. But there is some decent second tier gear out there, which I will make a video about soon. There is gear out there that can serve as replacements, but it's totally okay to go for endgame gear and still not be ready for it. You could just have to grow yourself into it, get more stats from other areas to build up into that category and, you know, be fully rounded. But yeah, there is some good second tier gear out there, and I will get into that in another video, but it's just too much information right now to like actually say in a video. The only problem with second tier gear is just a few items are way overpowered in endgame, like the new ribcage is way more powerful than, let's say, the Midnight Cuirass. It's 15% stats versus 3% damage. So some items have more difficulties in the second tier category, but yeah, they're definitely good and there's definitely ways around stuff. And I'll get into that in another video. Bucky Lift Heavy Circles asked, I just switched to PC like a month ago after playing on Xbox since around launch. What do you think I should spend my AD on? I'm currently stuck at 45,000 item level and I'm struggling to get it up. So I guess my two questions are, what should I spend my AD on and how do I get my item level up? Well, that just depends on what you have, and I currently can't see what you have, but usually the go-to stuff that people go for, and they make mistakes, they usually go like to upgrade their enchantments right away. I wouldn't do that. If you have your enchantments maxed out already, then you're fine. But if you don't, I think it's a combat enchantment. I'm not sure which one it is that gives you 5,000 item level. Upgrade that one first because it's 5,000 item level, right? It's the only enchantment that gives you 5,000. Then I would just stick to level 1, level 2 enchants and save your enchantments for later down the road. What you should do more of is get your companions to get your 100% bolster on your companions, get your 100% bolster on your mounts, and get your collars upgraded to at least legendary, or just get the epic ones. They give huge amounts of item level. So if I was you, I would just spend money on what you need the most. If it's companions you need the most, spend the money on companions. If it's mounts, spend the money on the mounts. And if it's collars, spend the money on the collars. Don't focus on enchantments unless you already have like the refinements, the moats, then go for it. They give a lot of item level too. But usually people try to set up the companions first, get their bolsters going, and then slowly work their way up the enchantment chain. So yeah, that's my advice I have to you. And your other questions are, how do I get so much AD like you do? And what is your current mood on the game? Well, to get as much AD as I have, you have to play for a long time. And I've been playing this game for just over 9 years now, for as long as it's been out. So it's not like a trick or anything, but back in the day, things were worth a lot more. So if I'd sell a legendary reinsurgence pack or whatever, I'd get 30 million as opposed to like 2 to 3 that you would get now. Mounts back then used to cost at the least 15, 20 million, even 30. Now they cost 1 or 2. So yeah, it's just different times. So there's no real answer to that, to be honest. And my current mood on the game is that it's all right. It's all right. It needs a lot of work still, in my opinion, but it's okay. If the game was doing fantastic, there would be more players playing the game. So all you have to do is look at the player base to know how the game is doing. Now let's get into a few questions by my channel members of my Discord. And then at the very last, I will answer Athena's questions, but also it was her idea to make these videos, so I saved the best for last. So Achilles asked in my channel member channel on Discord, which you guys should join, by the way. Channel member chat is for those who become members of my channel, which is that little join button down there. You know, just saying if you want to and you feel generous. So Achilles asks, if you were a developer for 24 hours, what would your top 5 fixes be? My very, very top fix would be strongholds. The first thing I would do is make sure strongholds are fun, sociable, you can socialize, the content is great, the marauders, 100 waves, rewards are better as you escalate and go through the waves, and then anything stronghold related. Another fix I would make is make all the dungeons tiered. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, or at least give us the option to choose the difficulty. The third change I would make would be bring back all the old dungeons that have been removed and make them up to date. Remove this CN and bring back the old one. The old one was much better. Another change I would make would probably be make PvP a lot better, a lot more viable, so the PvP player base can come back. Because whether you guys believe it or not, PvP had a huge player base. Maybe it wasn't as much as PvE, but there was a lot of players playing PvP. Toxic or not, PvP definitely had a fan base. And the last change I would make was definitely balance the classes a lot better. Because as we can see, there is some variables, some classes that are not performing as well in certain things, which they shouldn't do. But the classes shouldn't be underperforming either. Example, the wizard. The wizard should get a little bit of a buff. So yeah, off the top of my head, those would be the 5 fixes. Achilles also asks, if you could choose a new set of Reaper locks, what would they be? Well, my answer to this is a bit crazy, but hear me out first. I would make sure your daily powers, your at-wills, and your encounters are all locked through the whole dungeon. So you might be asking yourself, how am I going to attack if everything is locked? Well, you can only use your mount power, but they would reduce the cooldowns to every 10 seconds. So you guys would have to figure out who uses the AoE mount powers and who uses a single target, and try to get through the whole dungeon just by killing shit with your mount powers. Cooldowns are only 10 seconds, so you can keep spamming them every 10 seconds. So yeah, I think that would be crazy and pretty fun to do. Maybe a little bit frustrating, but who gives a shit? There's a lot of frustrating things in this game. And your other question is, what's one power you'd steal for your class from another class? I already answered that question earlier on in my videos. I would steal Bull Charge because I think it's super fun. Not because it's super strong or anything, but because it's super fun. So the next 3 questions are from Ant-Man. If you knew then what you know now, would you ever start playing Neverwinter? No, I wouldn't. Even though Neverwinter is still fun for me because of all the years I put into it, if I knew all these problems existed, I probably wouldn't have joined the game. Especially if I read a review and it was like super horrible. What's something from Neverwinter that you would love to have in real life? Obviously the boots of the Misty Step. What? Look at these things. I'll show you. Look, come on. Who doesn't want the boots of the Misty Step? And lastly, which system did you like better? Leveling your toon with experience points or the new adventure leveling experience? I like doing it with experience points, to be honest. It was more tedious, but there was also some fun to be had by killing mobs and getting experience from them. And now to the last and final questions added by my very close friend Athena herself, who some of you were saying happy birthday to.
Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate all of you. Woo! Bow wow! Bow wow!
It's been almost a month since her birthday, but hey, I had to wait to make the video. So Athena finally has her questions prepared, she says. Which one of your characteristics do you think is the most overlooked or taken for granted? Her second question is, which traits in other people do you find yourself being most drawn to? And her last question is, who were your idols when you were a child, and also the ones when you were a teenager, and why? And I also think she might have forgot who are my idols now that I'm older, so I'll take the liberty of answering that myself. So to answer your first question, you Pano, which one of my characteristics do you think is the most overlooked or taken for granted? I think one of the things that people tend to overlook with me is how loyal I am. I'm loyal to like a fault, especially with people that are very close to me. Granted, there's not that many people that are really close to me, like you're one of them, so you know how loyal I am to you, and there's no doubt about that. And I'm loyal to past friends that I've had, but people just don't know that about me, that I could be extremely, extremely loyal. Another thing I think people overlook about me is that I'm very empathetic, and my generosity as well. Like, I'm very generous. People see a video and they think that's all I do, but people don't realize I help people all the time in many different ways. In dungeons, teaching them dungeons. People ask me a million questions a day. People don't see it in the video, so they don't know. But I wake up every morning to 50, 100 messages every day. I get random questions while I'm gaming. Well, it doesn't ruin my gaming experience, but it does stop me from doing all the things I might want to do. I might want to hang out with some friends, do some content, and then I'll get 3 messages during a boss or 10 asking me, hey, can you help me out with my rogue? Can you help me out with this? So people don't see how helpful I really am, all those things that I provide that are behind the scenes. So people form their judgments. Oh, like you don't help people. Oh, you just make videos. People don't know shit. There's very few people that have offered the help I have in the game. The only person who's probably helped people more in a general sense was probably Wicked, but that's what Wicked did. Rest in peace, Wicked, by the way. That's what Wicked did. He woke up in the morning whenever he logged on and he just helped people. So he did it to a fault. I also did that too. I just wasn't as public about it. So people don't know this. So people don't understand how much I really do help people. Granted, I'm not perfect. I could be a dick and a jerk sometimes, but we're talking about characteristics that they take for granted. I'm pretty sure they know I'm a jerk and an asshole and a pain in the ass sometimes. It's not like I'm hiding it actively. I guess one more would be how approachable I am. I'm really approachable. Some people get intimidated. I guess, yeah, people think I'm not as approachable, I guess. But I really am very approachable. Unless you're a dick. If you're a dick, I will ruin everything you know. I will fire back 10 times worse than you do. So if anybody has any funny ideas that they could do that to me, yeah, it's not going to fucking happen. I promise you that. All right, so now we're straying a little bit, so let's go to the second question. And to remind you, Athena asked, which traits in other people do you find yourself being most drawn to? Well, one huge trait in people, I love people who are funny and witty. I like funny, witty stuff. Like, I don't like people who force their sense of humor. I like it to be instant. Like, boom, they're just naturally funny. I'm drawn to people who have great personalities and have a good vibe to them. I don't know what it is. It's hard to explain. It's not like I look at people and I analyze them and say, okay, he has a good character. She has a good character. He's funny. He has a good voice. She has a nice voice. Like, I don't break it down like that. To me, it's an instant thing. If I like you as a person, I'll know instantaneously. It'll be I just feel it. It's like chemistry. I don't know how to explain it. But basically, that's it. And as far as my idols go, I never really had idols like waking up and idolizing somebody. I guess the only idol I really had was my father. Obviously, it's pretty cliche. Like a lot of people say my idol is my dad. But he was. He literally taught me how to play soccer. I almost became a professional soccer player, football, the European football, not the NFL. He taught me so many things about being a better person and being who I am today. So he was my idol for a long time. And he was my idol too through my teenage years. It was like not just when I was a child, but through my teenage years too. My father sadly passed away now. He's always going to be my idol. But a real life idol I have is Elon Musk. I don't care what anybody says about him. His ideas are insane. Yeah, sure, he's going to do this, do that, but then he says all this other crazy shit. I don't care. Every genius is a little bit loose in the head. You know, the screw's a little bit loose, not fully intact. The puzzle isn't fully puzzled, okay? If that's even a word. Because the guy wants to get us to space, you know, so we can increase our chances of survivability. He's into artificial intelligence, trying to integrate it into us so we don't get run over by AI in the future. So the best solution is to become part of it, and many more things. I just love what he's doing. He's a visionary, and I love that. I love what he's doing. No matter what you say to me about Elon Musk, I don't give a fuck. He's my idol now, you know, besides Eminem, because Eminem is fucking insane, and he's a lyrical genius. But so I guess that's all your questions, Athena. So that's it for the Q&A, guys. I hope I answered all your questions sufficiently and adequately. And even if I didn't, you know, you can suck it because that's my answers to you. But I still love you all, by the way. With that being said, this long ass video finally goes to a close. You have all been a huge pain to my backside, especially my friend Athena. She's the hugest pain I've ever met. But, you know, I love her to death. She's my friend. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Make sure to sub, like, subscribe, share the video to others, and leave your comments below and let me know what you think of the answers. I hope I've answered them good enough. I don't know if I'm really happy with all the answers I gave you, but whatever. That's, yeah, I can't be too anal about that. I mean, I am Greek, and Greeks love anal, but let's not go too far. All right. Galactic here. Peace out. Stay safe.